Hey everyone, the St. George election this year is incredibly important. Go to votestg.com to see who's running and what they stand for, or visit us at our voter booth at Digby's Market, Red Rock Bicycles, or down in the park.
I talked to Rick Atkin about, what kind of innovations, thinking of like the mix of businesses that we need. Where are we weak? Where could we do better as far as business diversity and manufacturing? Is it strong now, or is it an up and comer?
Up and comer.
Because I think right now the biggest employer is Walmart. The biggest employer in the county, at least from the county website, said that Walmart as a
Is it bigger than Intermountain?
So it had them as the number one, and then Intermountain was number two.
Oh.
So, between those two, right, we have Health and Human Services, which, we're a retirement community. There's certain level of like the bio, just medical in general, right? If we were just to put medical into a big old bucket, we're doing pretty strong in that. And Walmart, that's between distribution center and then the retail stores. But you and I talked about, the distribution center is good until they can't find people to work the distribution center because they can't live to they can't afford to live here.
And that's actually moving up. I was just talking to an employer has many employees. Their average salary is up around $100,000, and their employees are complaining about finding housing that they can afford. And I'm like, holy moly.
Yeah, it's legitimate. I mean, right now you basically have to make $150,000 a year to afford a house in St. George.
You and your wife have to work and stuff.
Yeah. It's multiple incomes that you have to come in, and they can't just be entry level positions, right? These have to be pretty experience based positions, which really kind of carves out a certain element within our community that I think a lot of people prefer to have there, right? They want their kids and their family to live there, and so. We don't want to be a second home market. We don't want to be driven by that.
Well, I don't think anybody wants to be a Palm Desert or Park City or whatever you would.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Whatever you would relate that to.
Because I think we deal with this.
Well, some people do, but the majority don't.
Yeah, the majority. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, there's always. Yeah, I think this is that contradictory dynamic, right? Is that we like it being a small town, but it can't stay a small town and be affordable to live here because it's too desirable for people.
Yeah, I had this discussion with my mother-in-law. I said, if
and the ship sailed back in the 70s, right? By the way, like the ship sailed when we started becoming a destination town, and that was so long ago. It's nobody's individual fault, right? But it's just keep going with it.
I said, it's a big issue right now. Our housing is just. To meet that supply, we're going to have to somehow, have more dense housing, have higher density housing. And she's like, "Oh, not in my town. My town's already too dense. Do not let that happen in my town." And I said, "Well, that's fine. We can do nothing, and everybody who has property will be fine. But your kids and your grandkids aren't going to live here. So are you okay with that?" And so that's the dilemma we have.
But I think even more, if she's on a fixed income, property taxes are typically going to go up based off the value of their home. The value of their home is going to continue to go up if we don't increase supply, and over time, it makes it less affordable.
Yeah, it goes. Yeah, but we're very fortunate to have a very great tax base here,
so far
very affordable. Yeah, and we have so much money coming in to offset those taxes with our tourism that we're fortunate there. But
and I did hear.
Yeah, but you're right.
I did hear some conversation about how sales tax in general we projected out, and we're not tracking to hit the same sales tax projections as we've hit in years past.
Oh no, no. I think in construction in construction materials, I was just looking at a report, and we're down it was high. It was, I want to say 60% down in our tax collection.
And so knowing that we're going to ebb and flow with those taxes, right? There's like this specific tax base. The city of St. George in particular, they didn't raise their city tax for years and years and years and years and years. And then they want to make a jump, and then nobody's like, nope, nobody wants the tax increase.
Right.
Where if they would have had smaller incremental tax increases over time that was, marginal, right? As it goes, we wouldn't have to do any large jumps, but it can stabilize what is built into the system that inflation happens. The entire monetary system is built to inflate, right? And
well, the hardest part with cities is the most expensive budget item as far as what costs you money is a house.
It's a house, residential housing. So it's most expensive. It's actually a negative, right?
It's a negative. It costs you. Every house that's added each year is going to cost you more than any other.
And so if you take the land that's available and you make a bunch of just houses on it and not a very many businesses,
you have to raise taxes.
You have to raise taxes over time. And
there's no way it can equal out.
There's no way it can equal out. And the idea that we stop and we choke supply is exactly what happened during COVID, which is why we're dealing with inflation, is where demand doesn't stop. Demand continues to keep going, but lowering supply makes prices go up, right? And it's upward pressure as just fundamental as economics 101, where supply and demand intersect is where the price is. And so stop building doesn't make people just not want to live here. It just makes it only accessible to those that have the most money.
And that's just going to be a tough battle, because I was talking about this with Commissioner Almquist. I'm like, where is that happy medium where we build enough housing to meet the demand of everybody who wants to be here? Nobody knows what that is.
Well, and Kim Gardner he has a projection, or they have a projection, but it doesn't necessarily, if you look back historically, the demand is insatiable, right?
Yeah.
Like they could, they've projected out, it was like 30, basically between, 30, it went from 34 to basically 3,600 homes over the last 9 years. And we met it 1 year. We met it in 2021 is the only time we even got remotely close to it. And then the last 2 years, we're for sure not tracking to hit 3,600 homes this year. I think we're going to be at like 2,200 dwellings, actually built, which is down from the years before that. So, and I honestly can't imagine us building more next year, because permits have gone up a little bit over this quarter, but for the most of the year, platted lots and just the fundamental leading indicators of what building would set up on, across the county, we're not set up for another year of having a great supply boom either. Yeah. Right. So
my gut feeling tells me that we're probably going to have to, because of our limited water, our limited land, how much percentage of our county is
11,
the desert reserve and the BLM land?
Well, 11% of our county is privately owned. So I did the research on that one. Only 11% of our whole county.
So 89% is someone else.
State. Exactly. State or preservation land.
And then there's also limitations. It's not like you can build a house on a top of a rock,
Yeah.
Well, maybe you can if you look up there.
Sand's the best. Hurricane, there's a lot of great areas.
But we want agriculture too, right? We don't want to be completely desert.
We want open space. Yeah, exactly.
So my gut feeling tells me that we'll probably have to be more creative with some of these, taller buildings.
Yeah.
So,
well, I can't help but think like, where are places that you could put buildings where it's already dense, that doesn't obstruct views? And it seems like downtown St. George is the perfect place to put them. You look around, you're already surrounded by rocks anyway, right? You're looking.
I like Jewel Plaza. I wish there was more businesses that were actually lots of people were going through, but
yeah,
I think it makes that neighborhood cool.
I think it's kind of a.
And I'd like to have a dog washing station and a mountain bike repair shop in my house. So
yeah, right. Yeah. Oh yeah, because those they all have them there, right? Yeah. I think Jewel Plaza is a great example of how we can do downtown better.
Yeah.
I do think we need to go taller in the areas that it makes sense to go taller. I think, neighborhoods, the Fields and, Little Valley are going to stay suburbs. Ivans is going to remain a suburb. Santa Clara is going to remain a suburb. But, that higher density has got to go, where businesses are going as well. So I think Desert Color is a good
I think we also
project.
need to look to the future. I think we have to be really forward thinking. I always talk about self-driving cars. Mm-hmm. Have we talked about this before?
No, but I got another one I wanted to talk to you about, self-driving cars.
So I did a little research in college on self-driving cars, and it's happening. Like people who say, I'm never going to trust a car, when your insurance rates are 10 times higher for being a human driver than your self-driving car, trust me, you're going to be self-driving.
Yeah.
And if you can tell your car to go park in some off the path hole where, you know, it's protected in some confined space that you don't even have to go into. That's going to be pretty desirable.
And you just summon it.
Yeah, you just can get on your phone and say.
But I think you take it even a step further, and you say you don't have to own a car anymore.
No.
You just have just think of public transportation as there's a fleet of cars.
If your car doesn't need to be driven, you can share it. Ride sharing.
You'd share it.
You just schedule those out on your app.
Elon Musk's projection with Teslas is that his goal is to make your car be an appreciating asset because it makes money for you when you're not riding in it. He's like,
and it also provides backup power to the grid. Like, this guy's crazy smart.
Yeah, thinking of like what these sustainable systems are. And in St. George, you know, I look at it, I've said this a bunch of times too, but, you know, I think part of the vision of St. George should be a St. George that's self-sustaining, that keeps its air quality really great, that can lower the need for driving places, right? Get outside. The whole vision of St. George is built around its outdoor uniqueness and building community. The best way to build community is to run into your neighbors as you're walking down the street, or, you know, going for a hike, or, you know, interacting, right? We put these parks in place. We have these venues to where we can meet and collaborate with each other. You know, these are all these things that make St. George awesome.